Republican Congressman Sean Duffy. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us.
It's good to be with you, Wolf. Thanks for having me on.
So are you at all concerned about the president's staff telling the Justice Department about their interest in this case and lifting that gag order on that FBI informant?
Not at all. I got to tell you what, I'm shocked with some media reporting and from Democrats. We've had a year or 10 months of conversation about Russia colluding with American campaigns, and here we have direct evidence, if we can lift this gag order, of someone who can talk to us about the collusion between a Russian company and potentially the Clinton Foundation and their drive to get 20% of American uranium, which we use to make nuclear weapons. So I think if we care about the Russians and their involvement in the American society, we should all stand together and work to get this information out. And those who I don't think want to see this gag order lifted, they're there to protect Hillary Clinton from this scandalous information that we may hear very soon.
The gag order clearly has now been lifted, and we'll see where that goes. But you want the special counsel, Robert Mueller, you want the House Intelligence Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Judiciary Committees to continue their investigation into Russian meddling in the U.S. presidential election last year, which the U.S. intelligence community has concluded was clearly a threat to the U.S. democracy.
So I've said you don't roll this investigation back, but I have concerns because whether it was James Comey or James Clapper or Senator Feinstein, all Democrats who have said, listen, we've seen no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, though we have a special counsel anyway investigating it. The only evidence that we've seen thus far on collusion is with the Clintons or the DNC, one with the Dossier that I know you've talked about, but also then with Uranium One. So it's a little bit frustrating that you have this independent investigation. Go ahead.
What about that meeting between senior Trump campaign officials and Russians at Trump Tower in New York City after they received an email from those Russians saying, you want to discuss Hillary Clinton dirt?
Yeah, so no information was transitioned there in that meeting, very short in time. But if you look at the dossier, if you look at the DNC and Hillary Clinton, as through Fusion GPS, actually paid Russian informants, high Kremlin officials, to provide dirt on our sitting president. So if you look at the weight and scope of a scandal, the Democrats and Hillary paid for information from the Kremlin on Donald Trump as sitting president, as opposed to a 10-minute meeting in Trump Tower where nothing really transpired. If you look at the weight and gravity,
Congressman,
this focuses on Democrats.
The original contact with Fusion GPS was with a Republican who asked for dirt.
That's not been confirmed.
No,
that's not been confirmed. So
yes,
there's been no confirmation from Fusion GPS. Confirmation was asked who it was or show us records. No, that's not been confirmed.
Well, you didn't listen to the
allegation.
President Trump himself the other day said, yes, he thinks he knows who that Republican. The president says he thinks he knows who that Republican is. He's not releasing the name. He repeatedly says he thinks he knows. He's confirmed that the original contact with Fusion GPS was with a Republican. Later, after the president got the nomination, yes, you're right, the Democrats took over, and we only learned the other day that it was the Clinton campaign and the DNC that was actually directly involved back in January. Hold on a minute. We did report that Democratic supporters of Hillary Clinton were involved in getting that information. But are you saying the president of the United States is wrong when he says a Republican initially made that contact?
Yeah, he may be.
Why do you say the president is wrong?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Tell us why you think the president is wrong.
Because the only person that has information about who that Republican client would be Fusion GPS. Now, they're the ones that said we had a Republican client. When we asked for confirmation, the media asked for confirmation, none has been given. So I think you have this untrustworthy Fusion GPS that's willing to take salacious and scandalous material about our president, paying Russian informants, and put that out in a dossier. I don't think they have credibility. I've seen no independent verification of that outside of what Fusion GPS said. Now, the president might have heard news reports and speculated on who that could be, but I'm going to wait and reserve judgment on whether there was a Republican there or not. What I do know is you had the DNC and you had Hillary Clinton, who funded $9 million into this organization. And by the way, it was used, no media organizations, even CNN, wouldn't report on this dossier until the FBI went and briefed the president on the dossier, and it was leaked to CNN, all of a sudden giving credibility to a report that no one believed in. So my question also becomes, what's going on inside the FBI where they're briefing the president on this, but also then leaking it to CNN?
Well,
at the top level, we have great concern about what's happening.
They wanted the president to know, they wanted the outgoing president, the incoming president to know about this document because they thought, even though that a lot of the information in there had not been confirmed, apparently some of the information in that document, Congressman, had been confirmed.
What, that there was Russian informants, maybe, yes, but the salacious material inside, none of that had been confirmed.
The salacious material was by no means confirmed, but the contacts with Russians, some of that information, Congressman, was confirmed, and they decided, you know what, the President of the United States, the outgoing president, the incoming president, they should at least know about the existence of this document. I don't see anything wrong with that.
But Wolf, and I'm sorry that I was talking over you there. My concern is this, and this is not the good people that work at the FBI. This is leadership in the FBI. That we have a fusion GPS organization paying Kremlin officials for information. That's not the way intelligence works. This had red flags all over the map, and that our FBI would go in and brief the president when even the media was discrediting the report when it was put up, I think by Mother Jones or by BuzzFeed, is highly skeptical of what the motive was there. And the fact that I think CNN, and great work on your part, but you had a tip-off 30 minutes after the meeting and reporting it, means to me that this was not about briefing the president. This was about giving credibility to a bogus report against our president, which gives me great concern. If we're going to stand together,
hold on a minute,
and you've done a good job. Oh, go ahead.
Great concern about the leadership of the FBI. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. And those who are making decisions on this bogus report, leaking it out to CNN and also briefing the president. And again, when you look at the tactics and techniques that were used, I think guys in the field in the FBI would shake their head and go, this is unacceptable stuff, that we're taking this as credible material. We never do this in the FBI. And that's my concern. And I think if you and we stand together and saying, I want to know what Russia did. I want to know what involvement they had in our election. And I'll stand with CNN and MSNBC and Fox and every other organization to go, I want to know that. But I think we got to be fair, too, and say, was it Donald Trump? Was it Hillary Clinton? Let's apply equal pressure to both of them so we know what Russia's involvement was. And sometimes I get frustrated because it seems like Democrats only want to focus on an investigation if it involves Donald Trump. But when it blows back in their face and it might involve Hillary Clinton or the DNC, they want to stonewall it, and they want nothing to do with an investigation into Russia because it might look bad for their party. Let's do what they first said. Let's find out Russia's involvement.
FBI and CIA officials, they all say that Christopher Steele, the former British MI6 spy who was directly involved in coming up with this opposition research, is what they call it, was highly respected, well known to the U.S. intelligence community, and that was one of the reasons why the FBI itself, they didn't do it in the end, the FBI itself was thinking about paying for more of this information. Now, you've seen those reports, right?
But Wolf, no. So if Michael Steele, I don't know him, but I know that he was paying high-level Kremlin officials.
How do you know he was actually paying high-level Kremlin officials for this information?
Because we were told that. I think that was in the Washington Post story. Fusion GPS reported that this information was paid for. And so if you look at the flow of information of Fusion GPS, again, red flags are being raised. And when you're influencing elections, we have Kremlin officials who are passing information through Fusion GPS into the American media to discredit a president. This is the real scandal. This is the real collusion that concerns me.
So bottom line, Congressman, you want this all these investigations to continue to come up with final answers on the sensitive issues you're raising, the sensitive issues the Democrats are raising. The president may say, as he tweeted this morning, and I'll read it to you once again, it is now commonly agreed after many months of costly looking that there was no collusion between Russia and Trump, was collusion with Hillary Clinton. You want all these investigations to come up with answers so that the American public learns exactly what happened and tries to prevent the Russians from engaging in this kind of activity down the road, right?
I think America deserves to know. And to make my first point again, the Democrats have even said there is no evidence of any collusion that they've seen so far between Trump and Russia. We are seeing other evidence right now with, again, the dossier and Uranium One of collusion. between the Clintons and Russia. But with that said, we should apply equal pressure and equal force in this investigation to not look at